Hello and welcome along. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to learn more about HYCU, the next generation of data protection, and specifically HYCU Protege, which enables multi-cloud data protection. Your data, your cloud, it should be yours to control. So have a look at the agenda. I will give you a brief overview of who HYCU are and where we come from, but then we're going to have a look at what's happening in the world today, this so-called new normal, and the challenges and opportunities that presents to us all. From there, we're going to have a look at getting your private cloud right so that you can create better hybrid and multi-cloud environments. And then we're really going to look at the Protege piece specifically around the migration, the protection, and the manage elements of that product. So, HYCU, who are we? We've actually been around for over 25 years. Most of that time, we've helped other manufacturers to develop their backup and data protection products, companies such as HP and EMC. And while we were doing that, we realized that they were all building on legacy foundations. They were all adding complexity in their product to try and keep up with an ever-changing technology landscape. So we decided we could learn from that and create our own product. And from day one, we built that product to be for hybrid cloud, for private clouds, for public clouds, for spanning those environments, with as simpler a methodology as possible. We started off by supporting Nutanix, and that's one of our strategic relationships there, but we also work with Google Cloud Platform and with Azure as well. And most importantly, I guess, our NPS score of 90, which we're incredibly proud of. The customers that use our product and experience our service are all very happy people, and that's important. So, there's a lot going on in the world today, and you hear a lot now about what's going to be the new normal. That's great, but what challenges does that present us as a marketplace, as a group of companies? I think the only thing we can be sure of at the moment is that the only certainty is uncertainty. And yes, we can all talk about pandemics and coronavirus, and we're still in the middle of that now, and we don't know when that will fully end, or indeed if it's the last one we're going to see in the relatively near future. But really, that situation has only pulled forward a transition that's been going on for a long time around a different kind of security problem, a different kind of issue. If you look at things like climate change, there's the increase in extreme weather and natural disasters is all putting pressures on how we protect our businesses, how we protect our data, and also political instability. If you look in Europe, the EU's fraying around the edges. You're seeing a lot more left-wing, right-wing. You've got the US and the Chinese trade issues. All of those things, again, have been building for years. And COVID-19 and coronavirus has just pulled a lot of our wider problems into a faster, sharper focus than we were expecting. All of those things as well are going to create prolonged economic issues, such things as a global recession potentially. And we need to look at that as a challenge piece as well. Our traditional response may no longer be valid. I would say it is no longer valid. Normally, you would identify things that are a cost to your business and cut them out. One of those was always the IT budget. IT was a cost to business. We've just seen going through what's been happening in the last few months, IT is the only reason we have a business to go back to function within. So we can't really view that as a cost center anymore. It's critical to the growth and ongoing validity of our businesses. Things that we used to hold dear, like fixed hard assets, data centers, large offices with lots of people in them, they no longer protect us in the way we want. They no longer work the way that we want when these kinds of situations come along. So we need to consider those cost elements and whether they actually form part of our future plan. Scaling up and scaling down really means something now. We've been talking about it for a long time, but how many of us have you scaled up your remote working capability very, very quickly, very recently? And we'll have to scale it back soon as some of those people come back into a more traditional office environment, but you've still made that investment, you've spent that money. For a lot of people, that's money gone, right? So we need to consider that element of flexibility as well. And I think undoubtedly after the last 3 or 4 months, work culture will change. Not all workforces are going to want to return to the traditional method of working. Not all workforces will accept the old norm. They're going to expect a cultural change within the work. These are all things that challenge us. But as with any change, this new normal also presents opportunities. And it's how we respond to those opportunities, whether we take advantage of them, which is going to be absolutely critical. We've got the chance right now to redefine our key relationships, to look at the way we interact with our customers and with our own staff. How do we really move forwards around that? We've got a chance again to plan, to reduce unnecessary costs, but what we might deem unnecessary may have changed. So again, how we look at that is critical. And we've got the chance to reduce our environmental impact. We've all seen the pollution map since we've been staying at home. The air pollution, the sea pollution has gotten much, much lower. It's really come down. And whilst we can't stay this way, we are going to have to go back to some element of normality. We need to plan to move forwards to reduce that environmental impact and take advantage of some of the good things that have happened. So fundamentally, I think what we're saying is we've got to find ways to increase productivity, reduce costs, and be prepared for uncertainty, if that's not an oxymoron in itself. And some of the ways that we can do that within data protection and within HYCU and Protégé is through flexibility. And they come about through things like accelerating your cloud strategy. That needs to pick up pace. Putting the applications at the center of everything, making sure that they are king. They've always been important, but automation and remote management are absolutely vital, as we've seen. Increased remote working and the way we do meetings, WebEx like this, but for meeting purposes, we've shown we don't need to travel as much, and we can cut costs out of a business by not traveling as much. These are things we need to look at and maintain. Disaster recovery. It was always an insurance policy. You bought twice the kit, you put it in another data center, yours or somebody else's. You sat it there and you waited to see if you would need it, when you needed it. Is that cost something we need to maintain or add into our business when we don't know if that's actually going to protect us, depending on what's coming down the road? And last but not least, embrace the cloud fully. There are lots of economic and flexibility advantages to a hybrid and public cloud environmental situation, but most of us have dipped our toe or put one foot in. We might back up to the cloud. We might have some virtual machines running in it. We haven't embraced it to the level that it's really going to allow us to have the flexibility and mobility that we need moving forward. So from all of that, we know that the future is going to require data mobility. It's going to require our environments to be flexible. And ultimately, at HYCU, we believe your data protection should be as flexible as those environments are going to need to be. And that's why we effectively provide the ability to wrap up, modernize, simplify your private cloud, your on-premise data protection, and take the time and effort out of that piece. We enable you through the journey to the cloud and migrating those workloads into the public cloud, creating that hybrid scenario. And then we can also provide that protection within the cloud. You still need backup. You still need to be compliant. You still need to have common policy across that entire piece. And that's where HYCU starts to bring value for you. So in terms of building that private cloud, helping you get the foundations right, making the hybrid situation better, what are HYCU's key differentiators? Well, strangely enough, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Simplicity. Data protection is a massively important subject that we all spend a lot of time and money and effort on, but it is far too difficult, it is far too clunky, it takes up far too much time and removes the ability to innovate a lot of the time. So it needs to be simple. That's the key. Simple but functional. We have to reduce the total cost of ownership around data protection. We're saying we need to save money. We need to innovate as businesses. We've got to invest in the right things. We've got to save cash. So that TCO piece is absolutely crucial. And, the fact that from day one, we were designed and built for the cloud. We have no legacy shoehorn issue going on. It's purely about creating the right tool for the environments of today. So in true vendor form, complicated slide to help us demonstrate simplicity. But the important thing here is it is as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll work backwards on it, but it takes 3 minutes to deploy HYCU. It is a small Linux CentOS virtual machine that you simply upload into your environment. It goes off, it auto discovers all of the applications and virtual machines that we can protect, which is unique to HYCU, so you don't have to go looking for them. And it says, do you want me to back these up? That's why it's so quick to deploy. It takes 4 minutes to learn about it. It doesn't need a complicated training course. It's a very intuitive UI. We always equate it to being as simple to use as an iPhone app. You don't take training courses on iPhone apps. You can be backing up with a single click. It will go away, it will find them, you can start backing up, and you can be recovering in a couple of minutes. So all of those things really build the simplicity. A few other sort of points to pick up on here, I guess, rather than reading through them for you all. RTO compliance is another unique to HYCU. Once you set your policies, and policies are the brains of HYCU, and you set what your company's return point objective is, we will continually assess whether you are in compliance, and we will let you know that you are or are not compliant. So you do not need to continually test your ability to recover what you've protected, because protection is only as good as its ability to recover. And again, I'm sure some of your technical teams or yourselves may have experienced databases and virtual machines randomly popping up in your environment that no one told you about and aren't being protected. We're auto-tuned, so any changes we search for every sort of 5 minutes or so. Are there any new virtual machines? Are there any new applications? We find them, we tell you, we protect them. All these things come together to take the time burden away from the chore of data protection. Looking at total cost of ownership, which we've already said is crucial to save the money. There are no hidden hardware or software costs with HYCU. So we simply put our virtual machine image into the stack that you wish to protect. You do not need additional backup servers. Because we're running on a Linux CentOS, we don't need Microsoft operating systems. We don't need database licensing. We don't need antivirus to protect us. So all of a sudden, that extraneous cost has been removed from deploying that policy, that product set. We then take that idea of saving money over to your backup targets, the storage you want to use. We've got some logos on here, but you can effectively use anything you like. As long as it's NFS, SMB, iSCSI or S3 compatible, we don't mind what it is. You can commoditize that hardware layer. And most importantly, you can start to create that hybrid cloud situation by using public cloud as your backup target and realizing the benefits of doing that. And then we all know that 70% of the cost of owning anything is the ongoing cost of running that product. And because we are so simple to deploy, because you don't need to train specifically for use of HYCU, and because we have a single click, low maintenance upgrade that takes 4 minutes, has no impact on production at all, you don't need to plan for downtimes or push upgrades to agents. So again, we keep that overhead very, very low, that people cost very, very low for you. And then we start moving towards, okay, we've protected on-prem, we've modernized that situation. We've hopefully selected a public cloud as a backup point. How do we as HYCU then help you create a hybrid and possibly a multi-cloud situation and really start adding that flexibility, mobility, automation into your environment? I guess first things first, it's most important to say that HYCU have built each of their products bespoke for each of their environments. So our private cloud product is built to be the best on-prem private cloud product it can be. Our GCP and Azure products are built within and specifically for those cloud platforms and are native to those platforms. They are simple, enterprise ready, application aware. They have impact-free backups. They're completely agentless, just like our on-prem product. And they have built-in self-service and multi-tenancy. So you can see there, If you're looking at one sign-in, one invoice, common policies, one management window for all of that, you're looking at multi-cloud. And that's key. You want to be cloud native, not cloud ready. But those are three individual products. They don't allow you to create a truly hybrid situation. They just allow you to protect each of those environments. Where we create that multi-cloud, hybrid cloud value is around HYCU Protege. And what Protege really is an overarching management layer that allows you to have all of these different HYCU instances talking to one another. And by deploying Protege, you give yourself fully protected data migration. It's very, very easy to wrap up, spin those virtual machines and applications into your chosen public cloud and migrate them there. And that's it. They live there. It takes minutes. You give yourself a one-click application disaster recovery because it can move virtual machines and applications between these HYCUs. You can create a situation whereby you can use your public cloud as your cold DR scenario. It doesn't come into effect until your primary on private cloud goes down. Were that to happen, you can simply spin up and work from the private cloud, and you simply do not pay for it until you use it. And when you want to return it, we can migrate the latest versions all back down, and you're back up and running on private cloud again. You still have that one-stop SLO compliance. You set your RTO objectives in any of these environments, and they will follow each other. You can mirror them, you can report them, you can audit them. It allows you that common policy. You still don't need any additional infrastructure or software. Because we are natively built into the cloud, we're not asking you to take our physical product and run it on a virtual machine that's chewing up resources. We're not asking you to place agents into applications and chew up resources in those clouds. We're not asking you to pay for these things. It's a fully managed service that runs natively in these environments. And most importantly, again, it works across all your data centers, your cloud, and your remote sites. So whether you've got robo concerns, you're using public cloud, you've got your data center, HYCU can help you wrap a common protection around all of those things very easily, very simply, very centrally managed, and have that protection and that visibility and that management capability across all of those pieces of your business. So, in summary, I guess, if you were taking anything away from today, HYCU is there to help you modernize and simplify your data protection, both within the cloud and in your private cloud. It's incredibly simple, it's incredibly easy, it's incredibly low TCO. Importantly, and remember this, we are in the cloud, not on the cloud. It's a very big difference. It's completely native. You should try it, have a look at it. It's multi-cloud with one tool. You can have your private cloud, you could have GCP, you can have Azure, and they can all be wrapped up. They can all be viewed from a single pane of glass. They can all be managed centrally. And we're going to help you migrate those workloads from your private cloud into your public cloud and possibly back again if required. Maybe it's the wrong workload in the wrong cloud. And also you can create this low cost cold DR situation where you don't have to pay for a failure until you experience a failure, saving your money, increasing your flexibility, increasing your mobility, increasing your automation, but doing it all with a simple overview. There's some big claims in there, and you're not going to take my word for it. I understand that. So I would encourage everyone to download a free trial and see just how easy this can be. You can do that by going to tryhycu.com. And our on-premise product will give you a 45-day free trial. And if you go into Azure or GCP and subscribe to the trial products in there, you'll get 2 weeks of free trial in those environments as well. I hope you found today helpful. If you have any questions at all, please do reach out and contact us. And hopefully we'll speak to you soon. Thank you.